locked away, set, they're off. And Ski Angel was very slow leaving the starting stalls, but not as slow as Beanie Blue. They've both missed the break for this Every Race Live on Racing TV Fillies Novice Stakes. Going away well was Our Delia, showing up prominently with Destined, and between that pair is Senate Queen from Just a Notion. They're being followed through by Lady Chapel and Wu Bei with a pink cap against the rail. A little bit wider out is Garofalina. In the pink and yellow away to the left is Acclaim to Fame, who's racing just in front of Enna May. Green colours back down towards the inside is Happier, being followed through by Guidance. Bloomin' Robbery behind those. Selby's Joy's out towards the rear of the field at the moment as well with Ski Angel. Beanie Blue is tailed off, and they're already coming down towards the final quarter mile, and it's Our Delia with Senate Queen. Destined is right there. Garofalina running a blinder. Just in behind them is Just a Notion. Wu Bei's trying to pick up on the outside. Acclaim to Fame is trying to run on as well, but Destined has gone for home. Destined going on by 2 or 3 lengths to Acclaim to Fame on the outside. Then Garofalina and Senate Queen behind those, and then Wu Bei, but Destined with Ears Prick coming up to the line with a clear lead and will get off the mark at the 3rd attempt. Destined won well, beating to 2nd place Acclaim to Fame. Wu Bei ran on very nicely, and Garofalina outran her big odds in 4th.
Well done, Michael. Solid starts as a 2-year-old and built on that today.
They're off, jumping away over 7 furlongs for the Join Racing TV Restricted Novice Stakes, and they broke in a fairly good line. Kentucky Bluegrass is the one who goes into the early lead with a claimer for company towards the inside. Cawthorne's Gem, the red and white, also front rank, and they're followed through by Indiana B, who's racing a shade enthusiastically. Then they've got Man of Arn in the scarlet and mauve checks just in front of the white-faced Gold Guy. Then Majmak Splash and King of the Jungle, and Pearly Star is the back marker as they settle down and race on to the final 4 furlongs of their journey. And it's Kentucky Bluegrass who has a narrow lead to Cawthorne's Gem. Indiana B still racing a little choke out away to the left in the green and yellow. Acclaimer's just racing behind them in 4th down on the rail with Man of Arn wider out. Another 3 parts to Gold Guy, who's in 6th, and 1.5 lengths Majmak Splash in 7. In Turner neck away is the King of the Jungle, and 3 lengths down Pearly Star is last of all. They're now beginning to up the ante and approach the final 2, and Indiana B moves up on the outside of Kentucky Bluegrass, who's responding well on the far side. Cawthorne's Gem being left behind. Man of Arn has moved into 3rd from Acclaimer, and then Gold Guy, as Kentucky Bluegrass is the one to catch from Indiana B. Man of Arn hitting full stride down the outside. Kentucky Bluegrass trying to hold on from Man of Arn. Kentucky Bluegrass clinging on. Man of Arn thrusts, but it wasn't enough. Kentucky Bluegrass held on from Man of Arn, Indiana B and Acclaimer.
Kentucky Bluegrass takes the 2nd race of the day under Danny Tuddup. And Danny, you were keen to get across to that rail, but he's really matured well, this horse.
He has, yeah. Obviously, like you say, he's only had the 1 start last year, and yeah, his first start this year, and he's a real big horse. You know, he's probably just grown into himself now, and yeah, we thought today maybe 7 furlongs might be a bit sharp for him, but he was out and gone. You know, he knew his job, and I'm sure he's going to improve for this.
Yeah, and looking at his pedigree, I was just saying after the race that he's a horse that should stay further, and he looks that sort as well.
Yeah, he does, yeah. He's quite a nervous type as well still. But yeah, like you say, his pedigree suggests he'll stay a lot further than this, and yeah, he should have a nice future.
And hopefully Dave's horse is just starting to hit a little bit of form now after a quiet month.
Yeah, they've started to run well, and he's banging in a few winners now. So yeah, he had a bit of a quiet spell there, but you know, it tends to happen, you know, every year, and you know, he's a good stable to be with, so I'd watch out for him.
Yeah, well done.
Cheers.
And that's it, they're away, racing over the straight mile here for the Follow It Racing TV on Twitter selling handicap. King Carney was just a step slow as they began their journey here with Positive Force in the blue colours, the grey going forward, so too Like a Lion from stall 1 to bag the inside rail. Give Grace a little wider out in third spot, being tracked by Butterfly Island in 4, Little Joe the blue and yellow, and then the Battenberg Silks of Bay Dream Believer with King Carney having been slowly away, now making quite a notable headway out towards the middle of the course under Holly Doyle. They race on down towards the final 5 furlongs then, and Positive Force and King Carney for the Rebecca Menzies team, either side of Give Grace, the only other previous horse in this field to have run in a cellar before. Then in 4th place is Like a Lion, Butterfly Island behind them, Little Joe blue and yellow, and away to the left, and now the back marker is Bay Dream Believer as King Carney has moved into the lead. King Carney bringing them down towards the final 2 furlongs from on the inside Positive Force, then Like a Lion, Little Joe stoked along from Butterfly Island, on the outside Bay Dream Believer. Give Grace has dropped away, having been prominent, and it is now Little Joe, Butterfly Island, Like a Lion on the far side, wider out Bay Dream Believer, King Carney and Positive Force a beat as well, and it's the 9-year-old Little Joe striding on inside the furlong from Like a Lion, keeping on his Bay Dream Believer, but Little Joe drawing clear here for Gemma Tutty and Laura Coughlin, and will win for the 8th time. Little Joe beat into second. It was close in the end with Bay Dream Believer on the outside of Like a Lion, and they were clear of Butterfly Island. And that's it, they're away. Boy Douglas has just been the slowest one into stride as they step out for our longest and feature race of the afternoon. The Racing TV Profits return to Racing Handicap. Sir Jock Bennett going forward from stall 1 down on the inside. Well back favourite Ribel towards the outside is prominent as well. And Feud is also looking for a handy position as well. The grey bang there, Roaring Legend with a length to Boy Douglas as they complete their first quarter mile. And they're being followed through by Coverdale, Razzoni with the pink sleeves, and Boy Douglas out towards the back with Power of Gold. They go on towards the turn at the end of the back straight, and it is Ribel who's come through to pick it up for Holly Doyle and leads to, in second place, Sir Jock Bennett on the inside, just about a neck away. Feud has now dropped back to third in the grey jacket, racing 1 off the rail as Boy Douglas, recovering from that slow start, takes that position through on the inside. Roaring Legend, 1 off the rail, is racing in a dispute of 6th place in company with Razzoni as they just stack up going around that top turn. Coverdale and Power of Gold continue to be the rear pair, and they go through halfway and come in line for home. And Jason Hart and Sir Jock Bennett lead them down the home straight. From on the outside, Ribel in the green. Back in third position with the nose band is Boy Douglas, closely followed by Feud. Pink sleeves of Razzoni, and then Roaring Legend, who's just been shuffled back a little bit, and Power of Gold and Coverdale continue at the back of the field, but probably probably no more than 5 lengths off Sir Jock Bennett, who now is upping the ante and pressing on for home, passing the 3. Ribal half a length away, Feud out 3 deep, coming closer as well. Roaring Legend is 1 from the left, Power of Gold from the back on the extreme left. Razzoni and Boy Douglas just getting a bit close in behind them, looking for a way through. And then came Coverdale. It's getting tight there as Sir Jock Bennett falls back to Boy Douglas. Razzoni and Feud short of room. Ribal drops away, and it's Roaring Legend who strikes on for home, but Coverdale has quickened well from the rear of the field. Power of Gold on the outside, but it's Coverdale who's coming clear on the run to the line, and Coverdale wins in good style from Roaring Legend, Power of Gold, and they were clear of Razzoni, Feud, then Ribal, Boy Douglas and Sir Jock Bennett.
Coverdale has taken the 10 furlong 3-year-old handicap in really good style under Callum Rodriguez, and he's won that really well, I think, Callum.
Yeah, he has. He's done well. Nice rhythm all the way around, and they kind of got racing in the straight, and as soon as I give him a squeeze, he was straight underneath me, so really pleased, because we've been pretty hopeful all winter that, you know, he could just progress over this trip throughout the year, and to get off the mark first time's nice.
And all he needed was a squeeze, that was it, and he was gone.
Yeah, I was actually pretty impressed by that. Kind of tracking the right horses into it, and then when I had a bit of a gap to run into, I gave him a squeeze and sat into him, and the race was put to bed pretty quickly.
I know he's taken a handicap of a mark of 74, but the handicap is going to boot him up, and the way he's gone through that, it wasn't a bad race. You'd think there's a good bit more to come.
No, well, I was kind of having a look through the race last night and thought, well, looked a pretty warm race on paper, but we were, you know, confident we had a bit left in the mark, and hopefully he'll progress nicely now.
You maybe had a bit more than you thought. Well done.
Thank you.
And they're off. The straight mile once again here for the SDDE Smith supporting Middlesbrough FC Foundation handicap. And the handicap debutant, Mr. Socks, is the first to step out into the lead over Inspirited in the yellow colours, who sits directly behind him in second place and disputes that. Early on with the nose-banded Violetta, who's in purple and white and away to the left, and Concord, the odds-on favourite. Last of the 4 runners under Ben Curtis, who's ridden this horse twice, both to victories, one over this course and distance, and then at Pontefract 10 days ago when he won by 10 lengths. And he's last of the quartet as they race down the middle of the course this time, with Mr. Socks in front of Violetta, who's been placed in 5 of her 7 starts and is a very consistent filly. He's racing next to Inspirited, who won at Brighton on his final start last year, and it's also him making his handicap debut this afternoon. Behind those, Concord continues last of the 4 in this race, which is a qualifier for the SDDE Smith Group Straight Mile Series final, which is worth a fair few quid and staged here on Saturday the 7th of October. They've got 2.5 furlongs to run. Mr. Socks now under pressure, Inspirited challenging away to the right in yellow. Violetta shaken up, and now Concord has to come and join them, and readily does so. There are 4 in a line coming down to the furlong. Concord on the left in the mauve, now just moving through to challenge Inspirited. Mr. Socks, Violetta, they're coming down to the final 100 yards. Inspirited is fighting on bravely. Concord just being kept up to his work by Ben Curtis, and Concord will win again and win cosily. By half a length from Inspirited, they cleared away from Mr. Socks and Violetta. And we're ready. And running off over 5 furlongs for the Racing TV Club Day here today. Rajmeister was a little bit slowly away, but nowhere near as bad as last week. And Yazaman is another one towards the rear of the field. 2 groups here as well. Away to the right, Gullane 1 leading by 2 lengths to the purple of Show Compassion and Rajmeister. The 4 towards the left are headed by Dapper Man, having his 100th career start in company with Muse House, and then Primo in the green with the black cap, and trailing that group some 2 or 3 lengths away is Yazaman. Approaching the final quarter mile, it's Dapper Man with the lead. Dapper Man with the advantage. Gullane 1 on the far side. Next to him is Show Compassion. Rajmeister now coming through between horses for Holly Doyle. Then Yazaman, Muse House and Primo with a furlong left to go. Far side have it. Gullane 1 being pressed by Rajmeister. Back in third is Show Compassion. On the near side, Dapper Man is keeping on well. Rajmeister's gone to the front from Gullane 1 and Dapper Man. Rajmeister being driven out from Dapper Man. Rajmeister got there. Under Holly Doyle to beat Dapper Man, Gullane 1, and they were followed by Yazaman, Muse House, Show Compassion and Primo. They're off, racing over the mile for the 3rd time this afternoon in the watch race replays at racingtv.com handicap, and they all broke fairly well with City Centre in the yellow colours. So one of the first to begin. Smile and Pay is also prominent, and so too is Wolf of King Street away to the left in black and white. Heart of Acklam tucked in behind them in 4th position with Camacho Star away to the left in the nose band. On the right, Angel of Peace racing next to War Chant and Lady Loveless, and then 2 lengths away last of all is Navy Wren on a handicap debut, but only 5 lengths would cover them all as they race down the centre of the course and on towards the midway point of their journey. And it's City Centre with the lead to Wolf of King Street and Smile and Pay also right there as well. They're the front 3. Angel of Peace being cajoled along away to the right, being followed through then by Camacho Star, who moves well. Heart of Acklam, and then onto the heels of the leaders, War Chant closing in with Navy Wren and Lady Loveless as well. City Centre has gone and has dropped right away, and Smile and Pay and Camacho Star have been left with Wolf of King Street. War Chant trying to thread between horses the yellow colours. Lady Loveless behind those from Navy Wren, and then Heart of Acklam as they come down towards the final 2 furlongs, and Smile and Pay looking to follow up the win at Catterick has struck the front. Angel of Peace on the far side. War Chant has moved into 3rd, then Camacho Star, and these 4 going on, and Smile and Pay is entering the final 200 yards with a lead of over a length to Angel of Peace on the far side. War Chant trying to close on the near side and is doing so. Smile and Pay's all out to hold on from War Chant, who's closing, but Smile and Pay got there. Smile and Pay beat War Chant. Back in 3rd, Angel of Peace, and they were clear of Navy Wren, who ran on to be 4th.